I want to bring in Ari Berman, senior reporter at Mother Jones, author of Give Us the Ballot, The Modern Struggle for Voting Rights in America. There's so much to talk about here. I want to start, though, to just take a step back. There's another opinion issued by the court today in which Roberts, writing for the majority, strikes down a California law that requires nonprofits to disclose their donors to the state tax board as a essentially facial violation of the First Amendment of the Constitution, making it easier for dark money to flow and for the state not to see it. And when you take that and Citizens United and Shelby County and this, you get the totality of the court's jurisprudence is make it harder for voters and easier for donors.
That's absolutely right, Chris. That is really the slogan for the Roberts court, making it easier to buy elections and harder to vote for them. And it was really fitting that they came at the same time, because what are the rights that the Roberts court is concerned about? They're worried about the rights of dark money groups to keep their donors secret, and they're worried about the rights of states to be able to suppress voters, not the rights of voters who are facing discrimination. And that was a complete inverse of what the Voting Rights Act was supposed to do, Chris. As you know, the Voting Rights Act was supposed to protect minority voters who are facing voter suppression in places like Georgia and Alabama. Now, the Roberts court, led by Sam Alito in this opinion, is saying we're going to protect the rights of states to pass whatever voter suppression laws they want, even if there's no evidence of voter fraud they're intending to solve. But we're going to dramatically raise the bar for the kind of voter suppression that minority voters have to show to be able to win these cases in the future.
I want to read a section because you've done so much reporting on this. It is so key to understanding that while Donald Trump and his cronies have the most, again, cringe-inducing version of voter fraud, that the ghost of Hugo Chavez or Chinese ballots through UV or turn the election, that fraud plays a crucial role in the intellectual structure for everyone from McConnell to Roberts to Alito to Trump. Here's Alito in the majority opinion. Fraud can affect the outcome of a close election. Fraudulent votes dilute the right of citizens to cast ballots that carry an appropriate weight. Fraud can also undermine public confidence in the fairness of elections. Oh, heavens to Betsy. And the perceived legitimacy of the announced outcome. Yes, well, you see how important the work of voter fraud myth is so that Alito can use it to justify these kinds of laws.
Yeah, this opinion by Alito is really the institutionalization of the big lie and of the myth of voter fraud over the past 2 decades. In Shelby County, John Roberts invented a principle, as you mentioned in your intro, equal sovereignty of the states. Well, Alito just took the Republican playbook in terms of lying about voter fraud. And the amazing thing is, he said a state can do whatever it wants if it tries to stop voter fraud, even if there is no voter fraud. But if minority voters face all these burdens, that's not enough to strike down these voter suppression laws. So he's enacting all of these new tests that minority voters have to show to be able to strike down discriminatory voting laws, while basically giving states carte blanche to suppress voters as long as they point to some perceived threat of fraud, even if there is no fraud, which is exactly what Donald Trump said in 2020. There's fraud going on. I know it. Find 11,780 votes. It was all BS. But now that BS is literally led to Samuel Alito rewriting the Voting Rights Act.